and welcome back to Rybrook TV, and welcome to the BMW X4 xDrive 20D M Sport. The X4 is a more coupe and more sporting looking version of the BMW X3. It more or less sits on exactly the same platform as the car on which it's based, which is the X3. In the X4 there is a wide range of engines available. This one is a 20D, you can also get the 30D, the 3 litre 6 cylinder, and you can also get the 40D and M40i, which are big 3 litre 6 cylinder monsters really. And if you'd like to see what Jack thought of the X3 M40D, please use the link in the top of the screen. And something I've noticed with this car in particular is we've now got a mild hybrid system, which is a 48 volt battery deep within the gubbins of the car. Now you can't drive anywhere on that, it doesn't do a certain mileage on the batteries, but what it does is it helps out with economy. So while we're stopped now, the engine stopped, and as I move away, it's going to move away on the electric power before the petrol engine jumps back in, and then when you come to a halt again, from around 10 miles an hour, it can actually cut the engine and you coast the last couple of yards on just the battery power. So you get incredible MPG figures. But what's it like to drive when you get a shift on? Well, this particular car is an M Sport with an M Sport Pro Pack, which means that we have the adaptive dampers. And to say they make a difference would be an understatement. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I've got the car currently set in comfort, and it is really comfortable. It soaks up all the undulations and potholes in this country with a real composure and poise to it. And then when you pop it into sport and go for some more sporty driving, again, it handles itself really well. And you can really tell a tangible difference from comfort to sport because the dampers have definitely stiffened up. To drive the X4 is exactly as you would expect it to be. It's comfortable when it needs to be, very quiet in here, it's trimmed incredibly well, it's easy to see out of because we're sitting quite high up. It's a great car, this. But let's now pull over and have a look at the rest of this car, because of course if you're buying one of these, you're most likely going to be buying it for the looks. At the front, the X4 is pretty much exactly the same as the X3 on which it's based, which means it looks great, especially in this carbon black paintwork. We've got a different design on the front bumper because this is an M Sport. We've got black kidney grills on this one because we've got an M Sport Pro Pack, and the kidney grills aren't actually as big as most people think they are. They suit the car. Obviously BMW has had an absolute belting for its grills, but I think they really suit the car. And well, let me know what you think of the grills on this car in the comments below. You get LED lights as standard on the X4, and it just ties in really nicely. The front end of this car is really good looking in my opinion. Of course, it's here where the big differences are between the X3 and the X4. So from here forwards, it's more or less exactly the same. We've got the larger wheels on this again because we've got the M Sport Pro Pack, little air breather here, which looks really nice. But it's as we go backwards through the swage line, through the Hofmeister kink, that things now get different. Obviously, instead of the X3, which carries on here to a normal conventional SUV style, this slopes off at the back and gives a real elegant, sporty look to the rear of the car. I think these sort of cars are massively misunderstood. I think they look great, and let's be honest, if you're buying one of these over an X3, you're buying it because of the style. And well, I think in the styling department, it looks great. At the rear, it's a very different proposition to the X3. It's all different and different angles, and you've got these wraparound LED 3D lights which look brilliant. You've got a small spoiler here, and obviously the glass here is much smaller than it is on the X3, but visibility isn't really too much worse. Obviously it's not going to be the same, but you still have a good view out of the back of this window. This being an M Sport, we've got twin pipes on the back which look really cool, and your model designation is here. I think this car has really grown on me. I think it looks brilliant in the flesh.
You'd think with that sloping boot line, the X4 wouldn't be practical. However, with the rear seats up, it offers 525 litres of boot space. And then, with them down, it offers a massive 1,430 litres of boot space, which is more than enough for your average staycation.
The interior of the X4 is instantly recognisable as a modern BMW. The architecture, the layout is all very familiar if you've driven modern BMWs. The steering wheel is the same. We've got this wonderful M Sport steering wheel, which is fat, chunky and finished to such a high standard. When we're talking of the standard, everything's really high quality. Everything you touch and feel feels expensive and feels so well put together. Directly in front of me, we've got BMW's digital cockpit, which is very useful. You can see your satellite navigation on there, your radio, your Bluetooth settings, and so on. And then moving around to the center, we've got the operating system 7, which is, in my opinion, one of the very best systems out there. You also get wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is super useful. And let's be honest, most people will just link their phones up and use that system. And just, it feels at home in here. The seats are very, very comfortable. You know where everything is, and it feels such a great quality. Something that's also really cool that I only noticed when I jump into this car, the front windows are double glazed, and that's why it was so quiet driving over here. It is just a brilliant place to sit. The view out's great, even out the back, as I've mentioned, in the rearview mirror. The view out isn't as bad as you'd expect it to be because obviously the smaller rear window. It's just a lovely place to sit in here. It really is.
And so there we go, the BMW X4, a stylish alternative to the X3. Now, if you'd like any more information on the BMW X4 or any BMW for that matter, please use the link in the description to contact one of our Rybrook BMW retailers. And please make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for plenty more content to come.